Kenta froze the moment the woman beside him pulled down her surgical mask. That face. It was Suzu Aizawa.
No way. This can't be real. Suzu Aizawa, the voice I've worshipped for 4 years, sitting inches away.
Suzu hooked a finger under her mask and pulled it down completely, revealing a tired but gentle smile.
What's your name?
Kenta's phone lay face up on his thigh. The lock screen displayed a glossy illustration of Suzu Aizawa.
Oh, that's definitely me. Should I be flattered or worried?
She saw it. She knows. I'm just another obsessed fan. Say something. Anything.
The overhead view captured the absurdity. Kenta frozen beside his idol, his secret glowing on the phone.
Hey, don't look so terrified. I don't bite.
But I can't move. I can't speak. My entire world just collapsed into this train seat.
You look like you've seen a ghost. Seriously? What's your name?
4 years of moderating her fan forum, and now she's here. Say something, you idiot.
Suzu chuckled, pointing at his phone again.
I should have known you were a fan. That lock screen is a dead giveaway.
Don't panic. She doesn't know I'm the admin. She just thinks I'm a fan.
Kenta's hands remained frozen over his phone, the screen still lit with her character art.
But actually, your face seems familiar. Have we met?
No way. There's no way she'd recognize me. I've never been to an event.
I'm serious. I know you from somewhere. It's right there on the tip of my memory.
This can't be happening. She's going to figure it out, and I have no idea what she'll find.
You're Kenta LN. I've seen your name on the fan forum. You're the admin.
She knows my username. It's not just a passing recognition. She's been watching.
I secretly moderate my own forum. I read every letter that ends up in the spam folder. There was one letter. 2 years ago. I never forgot it.
A letter? 2 years ago? I don't remember writing any letter.
You don't remember? It was so detailed about your life. It meant a lot to me.
2 years ago, my mother was dying. How could I have written a fan letter?
It was signed with a pseudonym, but it came from your email. I traced it.
Kenta's mind was blank. He had no recollection of any letter from that dark period.
I didn't write any letter. I was living in a fog of grief. She must be mistaken.
Let me show you. I kept a photo of it.
She angled her phone screen toward Kenta. A wrinkled, handwritten letter filled the display.
That handwriting. The slant of the letters. It's definitely mine.
Your voice was the only thing that made me believe I could keep breathing. That's what it says.
The line pierced through Kenta's confusion, leaving a cold stillness in his chest. With trembling hands, he opened his own phone and searched his sent emails. There it was, a draft from 2 years ago. Subject, to the voice of Suzu.
I don't remember writing this, but it's dated from the worst time of my life.
The train's intercom broke the silence. His stop was next. Kenta's thumb froze over the email. He didn't open it. The train began to slow. A low battery alert flashed on Kenta's phone. 5% remaining. He couldn't risk opening the draft now.
If my phone dies, I'll lose the only proof of that letter. What do I do?
You're panicking. Please, just listen. I need to thank you. That letter saved my career. I was about to quit voice acting altogether. I've been riding this train every evening for 3 months, hoping to find you.
3 months? She's been looking for me this whole time? Why?
The train hissed to a stop at Kenta's station, doors sliding open with a mechanical sigh. Suzu snatched a pen from her bag, scribbled on a torn piece of paper, and folded it tightly.
My number. Call me when you remember the letter.
Suzu pressed the folded paper into his hand, then slipped through the doors. She glanced back once, then vanished into the crowd. As the doors sealed shut, Kenta snapped out of his stupor. He rummaged through his bag for a charger. Once powered, he opened the email draft with shaking fingers. The subject line stared back, to the voice of Suzu. The timestamp burned into his eyes, March 14th, 2 years ago, 3:02 a.m.
March 14th. That night. That was the night my mother slipped away.
The body began with details of his mother's terminal diagnosis and how Suzu's voice had become his only comfort. He scrolled frantically, not recognizing the words but knowing every typing tick. His station passed unnoticed, the train pushing deeper into the city.
I don't recognize these words, but they came from me, from that hollow night.
The email described her final days, the suffocating grief, and how Suzu's voice line, "I'll be okay," kept him breathing.
I wrote this the night she died, but the memory is gone. Just a blank space where agony should be.
At the next station, Kenta stumbled off the train. The night air cut through his hoodie, sharp and sobering. He walked home in a daze, the streets a smear of neon. By the time he unlocked his apartment, the silence swallowed him whole. At his desk, he unfolded Suzu's note. The numbers were written in a cursive that made his hands tremble.
This script, it's not just some strangers. It looks like my mother's handwriting.
He pulled out his mother's old notebook, opened to a page where she'd written, "I love you, Kenta." The ink was faded but unmistakable. He laid Suzu's note beside his mother's words. The slant of the "we," the loop of the "g," identical.
That letter, it wasn't just a fan message. I was saying goodbye to her.
The email draft glowed on his phone, proof of a grief-crazed act he could not consciously recall.
I don't remember writing it, but it was me. Every word was the farewell I never spoke.
His throat tightened, tears burned, but he forced them back, staring at the ceiling until the ache dulled to numbness. Days blurred. Kenta avoided the folded note on his desk, but Suzu's voice echoed in every quiet moment. Late one night, he opened his fan forum and scrolled backward through years of posts.
Here it is, a thread from 2 years ago. I wrote about losing hope after her diagnosis.
The replies were warm, strangers offering comfort he didn't recall receiving. The words felt alien, like reading someone else's life.
I was in a fog after the funeral. My brain just erased parts of that year.
The letter to Suzu, sent during that same blank stretch, must have spilled out of that dissociation.
I still can't touch that memory, but the evidence is too solid to deny.
He glanced at the folded note beside his mother's notebook. The evidence was irrefutable. The boy who lost everything had reached out to a stranger and found an anchor.
Mom, did some part of me still know how to ask for help, even when I'd forgotten how to feel?
The question hung in the air, unanswered. But for the first time, the ache in his chest felt less like a cage and more like a key he wasn't yet ready to turn. Kenta opened his mother's notebook again, tracing the faded cursive with a fingertip.
She used to leave me little notes in the morning. Have a good day, Kenta. This script is home.
He laid Suzu's note beside the notebook. The handwriting was not just similar, it was the same gentle soul.
If I believed in signs, this would be one. My mother and Suzu linked through a pen's loop.
He picked up his phone and typed Suzu's number into the contact list, saving it under a single name, Suzu. His thumb hovered over the call button. One press would connect him to the voice that saved him.
What would I even say? That a stranger has my mother's handwriting? That I'm scared of her voice now?
The seconds stretched. His thumb trembled, then retreated.
Not yet. I can't. Not until I understand what this handwriting means.
He placed the phone face down on the desk, the folded note a paper weight against the silence. 3 nights later, Kenta picked up his phone, his thumb hovered, then typed a message to Suzu. It's Kenta. The letter. I finally read it. I think I understand now. He pressed send before courage failed. Immediately a read receipt appeared. Suzu's reply followed within seconds. Thank you for reading it. I've been waiting. Can I call you tonight?
She wants to call. My hands are shaking, but I can't say no.
Kenta typed yes and sent it. Seconds later, his phone rang, the screen lighting up with Suzu's name. He answered, pressing the phone to his ear with a trembling hand.
Kenta?
Sue, it's really you.
On the other end, Suzu exhaled softly, a sound that held 1,000 unspoken things. The silence between them hummed with new possibility.
I didn't just ride that train to thank you, Kenta. I needed to see the person who wrote that letter. 2 years ago, I was in a dark place. A major role went wrong. Critics tore me apart. And then my grandmother, the woman who raised me, she died. I couldn't bear either loss. I decided to quit voice acting. I'd already written my resignation letter.
Kenta listened in silence. The phone pressed hard against his ear.
Then I checked my spam folder and found your letter. It said everything I needed to hear. That my voice mattered to someone who was also losing everything. That I wasn't alone. I cried for hours and then I went back to the studio the next day.
Kenta's grip tightened on the phone. The weight of her words settled inside him, heavy and immovable.
I don't even remember writing that, and yet it saved her life.
Kenta, what were you going through when you wrote that?
A long silence stretched between them. Kenta's throat tightened, the words clawing at his chest.
My mother was dying.
And once the dam cracked, the story poured out. The hospital room, the 3 a.m. vigils, the machines beeping her fading heartbeat.
When she took her last breath, I was holding her hand. After that, I don't remember anything until the next afternoon.
He described the dissociative fog that swallowed him, and the letter that must have been written in that hollow space. Suzu listened, her own breathing shallow. When Kenta finished, the silence returned, softer this time.
Your mother? She must have been wonderful.
She was. She would have liked Suzu's handwriting. They share the same gentle loops.
I'll be here, Kenta. If you ever want to talk again, just call.
I do.
The call ended. Kenta sat alone in the silence, the phone still warm in his hand.
It's 3 a.m. again. The same hour that stole my mother and gave Suzu a letter.
He opened his mother's notebook again. His finger traced her "I love you" until the paper grew soft.
Why can't I cry? On the train, on the call. My body won't let go. It's like I'm broken.
He looked at the old photo of his mother and him, smiles frozen in a past that no longer existed.
Tomorrow, I'll go to her grave. Maybe if I stand where she rests, I can finally feel.
He set an early alarm, then lay down with the folded note still clutched against his chest.
Mom, I'm coming to see you. Please, let me cry this time.
The next afternoon, Kenta walked the cemetery path lined with cherry blossoms, a small bouquet in his hand. He found his mother's grave and knelt, placing the fresh daffodils beside the stone.
Mom, I met someone. Her voice saved me, like you did. And she wrote a note. Mom, her handwriting looks just like yours. Is this you telling me it's okay?
He held Suzu's folded paper beside the engraved name. The cursive, the slope of the L, the loop of the Y, identical to the notes his mother left him.
She's reaching through this paper, isn't she? Through Suzu's hand.
A single tear traced his cheek, but the flood he'd begged for refused to come.
I'm here, Mom. I came all this way. Why can't I break?
He stayed until the sun dipped low, feeling her presence like a half-remembered lullaby. But the dam held. With the folded note pressed against his heart, Kenta walked home through the fading light, the weight still heavy in his chest. He paused at a wooden bench near the cemetery entrance, the folded note still warm in his hand. He needed to hear her voice. He took out his phone and dialed Suzu's number. It rang twice before she picked up.
Kenta, are you okay? You sound far away.
I'm at my mother's grave. And Suzu, I need to tell you something about your handwriting.
What about it?
It looks like my mother's. The loops, the slant, identical. I held your note to her stone and it was like she wrote it.
A sharp intake of breath on the other end. then a choked sound.
Kenta, that script. It's the same as my grandmother's, the woman who raised me. I lost her 3 years ago. I kept her letters because of that cursive.
Both women, gone. Both writing in the same hand. This can't be coincidence.
The line hummed with their shared silence, grief threading through the static like a third voice.
Kenta, can you stay on the line a little longer? I want to tell you about my grandmother.
I'm not going anywhere. Tell me.
She raised me after my parents divorced. Everything I am, I owe to her. She was the one who encouraged my voice acting. She said I had a gift for bringing characters to life. Her last letter to me, written in that cursive, is framed on my desk. It says, "Never stop using your voice." When I saw your letter, Kenta, the handwriting was identical. It felt like she was reaching out from beyond.
So that's why she rode that train. My letter became her grandmother's final message.
A chill ran through his spine, as if two women long gone were speaking through the same pen.
Maybe they wanted us to find each other, to heal together.
The night deepened over the cemetery, but the fragile connection between them held like a lifeline.
Kenta, do you think they wanted us to find each other?
I've been thinking the same. The handwriting, the train. It's too perfect to be random.
Then let's not rush a meeting. I want this to stay in my voice for now. That's where I feel safest.
I understand. Your voice is what saved me in the first place.
We'll talk every night until you're ready. Good night, Kenta.
Good night, Suzu.
The call ended, and Kenta rose from the bench, the cemetery now cloaked in silence. He walked home under the stars, the folded note still in his pocket, and fell into bed exhausted.
For the first time in 2 years, I didn't dream of hospitals. Just her voice.
When morning came, the sunlight felt gentler. He had slept without nightmares. Over the following week, 11 p.m. became sacred. Kenta would settle into bed, and his phone would ring.
Today in the booth, I had to voice a cat. I meowed for 3 hours straight.
My mother had a favorite song. She'd hum it while cooking. I can still hear it sometimes.
Your mother had good taste. That song is beautiful.
They traded daily details, Suzu's favorite coffee blend, Kenta's college fears, the quiet absurdities of their lives.
You know, I was terrified you'd think I was a stalker. 3 months on the same train waiting for you.
A stalker with star earrings and a coffee tumbler. That's the cutest stalker ever.
I was so scared you'd report me.
It was the first real laugh Kenta had let out in months.
These calls. They're the best part of my day.
Kenta, I've been wondering, do you remember actually writing that letter yet?
No, it's still a blank. Just facts, not feelings.
I have an idea. What if I read it to you? Hearing my voice say your words might unlock something.
The thought of hearing his buried pain in her voice was terrifying and necessary. He agreed with a shaky breath. That night, Suzu pulled up the photo of the wrinkled letter on her phone and began to read.
I don't know if anyone will read this, but if you do, Suzu, please know your voice kept me alive when I wanted to disappear.
The words hung in the air, raw and unfiltered. Kenta's grip on the phone tightened until his knuckles ached.
That was me. That was my voice from a night I can't reclaim. And she's giving it back.
No tears came, but something in his chest cracked open, a pressure building behind his ribs.
Kenta, that letter is a part of you that you lost. I think you need to reclaim it.
My hands won't stop shaking. What if I start crying and never stop?
Then I'll stay on the line until you're done. I'm not going anywhere, Kenta.
I'll try. I promise I'll try.
Good. I'll talk to you tomorrow, same time. Good night, Kenta.
Good night.
The call ended. Kenta sat in the dark, his mother's notebook heavy in his lap.
I'm sorry I forgot. I'm sorry I couldn't hold on to that night.
A few tears finally slipped free. tracing his jaw before splashing onto the faded ink. But the dam held, the sobs still locked somewhere deeper. He wiped his face and stared at the ceiling until sleep claimed him. Sunlight crept across his pillow, illuminating the folded note still on his desk. A notification blinked on his phone, missed call from Suzu, 3:02 a.m. He sat up quickly, heart hammering, and opened the voicemail. Her breath filled the speaker before the first note. Then her voice, a cappella and unpracticed, began the lullaby his mother had hummed in the kitchen on summer afternoons. The melody floated, soft and wavering, as if she'd learned it from a memory she'd never actually lived. The song faded, leaving a fragile silence that hummed with her care.
I learned this for you.
Kenta's chest tightened. He covered his mouth, but no tears came, only a new kind of weight. He replayed the voicemail, letting the lullaby wrap around him until the ache softened into something like hope.
She gave me back a piece of my mother, even if I can't let it break me yet.
Days blurred into weeks. The voicemail became a quiet anchor, played on loop until the lullaby felt like his own heartbeat. But on their nightly calls, Suzu noticed a restraint, a carefulness in his voice that never cracked.
Kenta, you're always so careful not to cry when we talk. Why?
The question sat between them, heavy and unblinking. Kenta's throat tightened.
Because if I start, you'll see how broken I am, and you'll leave, like everyone eventually does.
A sharp crack in her breath, as though he'd struck something tender.
You're not broken, you're grieving, and I'm not leaving.
Those 7 words hung in the static, a promise he wasn't sure he deserved.
She says she won't leave, but can I really risk letting her see the ugly parts?
The call ended with a quiet goodnight, heavier than before. But somewhere deep, a lock had shifted. The next night, Kenta clutched the phone tighter. He had replayed the lullaby so many times it was engraved in his bones.
Suzu, that lullaby you left. It's the one my mother used to hum.
I know. After you mentioned it, I searched for your mother's name online. I found an old blog. She wrote about humming it to you as a child.
Kenta's breath caught. An old blog. His mother had never mentioned it. A hidden corner of her life.
I found the sheet music and learned it, because your mother loved you, Kenta, and I wanted to honor her.
You did all that for me?
Yes, for you and for her.
Kenta pressed his palm against his chest, feeling the sharp ache of a kindness he didn't know how to receive.
Suzu, read the letter again. Please.
Of course, I'll read it again. But this time, let me add what I think your mother would want to say.
She began the familiar lines, but her voice shifted, gentler, older, as if another spoke through her.
Live, Kenta. Find joy. Let yourself be loved.
Kenta's breathing frayed into uneven gasps. He pressed the phone so hard it hurt. Then the sobs came, quiet at first, then deeper, shaking his frame.
I miss her so much.
I know.
She didn't stop reading. Her voice held him like a hand in the dark, steady until the window faded from black to gray. When the call finally ended, he lay in the morning silence, more tears than he'd ever shed still waiting somewhere untouched. The next evening, Kenta sat on his bed, still drained but lighter. For the first time, he called Suzu.
Kenta, I'm so happy you called. Is everything okay?
I've been thinking about the handwriting. Did your grandmother ever say anything about a connection to my mother?
I looked through her things. There's no link. I think that's the point. It's just a gift from both of them. Kenta, what do you need right now? Tell me.
I need to hear you say my name. Not the polished voice from the shows, not the idol. Just you. The Suzu who cried for her grandmother. The Suzu who learned my mother's lullaby. Please.
He pressed the phone so hard his hand ached, every fiber begging for her voice to be real. Then, across the line, her real voice, the one she never used for anyone else, reached him.
Kenta.
A tremor spread through Kenta's chest, raw and unfamiliar, a small, terrifying crack in the ice.
Again.
Kenta.
And again. This time warmer, as if she were wrapping the sound around him like a blanket against the long night.
My mother used to say it just like that, soft, with her whole heart.
He squeezed his eyes shut, and the hospital room returned. The monitors, the stillness, her last whisper, "Kenta, live." The two voices tangled in his chest until he couldn't breathe, couldn't think, couldn't hold back the flood.
Don't stop, please.
Suzu kept speaking his name, her own tears cracking the syllables, but she did not stop. The dam shattered. 2 years of buried grief poured through the line in heaving sobs, and still her voice held him, a lifeline in the dark. The sobs eventually subsided into shuddering breaths. Kenta lay sprawled on his bed, empty and hoarse, the phone still pressed to his ear, its surface damp with tears.
You did it, Kenta. You let it out.
I'm a mess.
A beautiful mess. Your mother would be proud.
I think she is.
They lingered in the quiet, no words needed, only the soft sound of each other's breathing through the line, a shared peace.
I have to go soon. My manager is calling, but I'll call you tomorrow, same time. Is that okay, Kenta?
Yes, I'll be waiting.
The call ended, and Kenta stared at the ceiling, his body hollow but somehow lighter. For the first time in years, a fragile hope stirred beneath the exhaustion. The next morning, Kenta woke on the floor, his cheek pressed to the cold boards. Sunlight poured through the window. His phone glowed with a notification. A message from Suzu, time-stamped 3:02 a.m. You were amazing last night. Sleep well.
I feel hollow, but clean. Like a room that's finally been aired out.
After a long shower, he settled at his desk, pulling out his mother's notebook and a pen. Slowly, carefully, he copied the loop of her yi, the slant of her G, writing back in the script that had bound them. Thank you for giving me back my voice, Kenta. He took a photo of the note, his mother's handwriting alive again in his own hand, and pressed send. The message whooshed away, carrying a piece of his healed grief into the space between them.
She gave me her voice. Now I'm giving her my mother's. It's a fair trade.
His phone buzzed, a voice message from Suzu. Kenta pressed play. The recording crackled with her breath, a soft sob catching in her throat.
Kenta, your handwriting. It looks exactly like hers. Thank you. I've been crying happy tears all morning.
He typed back, it's a mix of my mother's cursive and yours now, a new script. That evening when they finally spoke, her voice was still watery but bright with relief.
I'm picking out a frame for your note. It will hang next to my grandmother's letter forever.
They talked about her new animated role, a clumsy magical girl, and his upcoming midterms. Ordinary, light-hearted things. Kenta caught himself laughing without effort, the ache in his chest a distant memory.
This is what normal feels like. Not just surviving, but actually living.
A few evenings later, Kenta headed to the station. Same route, same car. He didn't tell Suzu. He sat in the familiar seat, the ghost of their first encounter lingering in the warm evening light. The train slowed at the station where Suzu used to board. The doors slid open with a familiar hiss. The doors closed. She wasn't there. A sharp pang of disappointment twisted in his chest.
Of course, she's not here. She's not stalking me anymore. She's just waiting for my call.
He opened his phone to text her, then paused, thumb hovering over the screen.
I don't need to reach out. Her voice is already here, in my head, exactly where I need it.
A quiet smile crossed his face, unforced and genuine.
I'm not just okay, I'm whole. Even alone on this train, I'm whole.
The train carried him deeper into the city, the rhythm of the tracks a lullaby he now understood. That evening, Kenta's phone lit up an hour early. Suzu's name pulsed on the screen, and something in the rhythm felt off.
Kenta, I need to tell you something. I've been trying to find the right words all day. The studio just confirmed I'm being sent to Los Angeles, a huge international project. 6 months, starting in 2 weeks.
Kenta's heart plummeted. 6 months. The word echoed like a door slamming shut, but he forced himself to breathe.
I can't leave without seeing you, not after everything we've shared. Please, Kenta, let me see you just once before I go.
6 months. She'll be across the ocean. But she wants to see me. Now, before she leaves.
He closed his eyes, and his mother's lullaby played softly in his mind, the song Suzu had learned for him. It steadied his breath.
Saturday, 3 p.m. The cafe near your studio.
Thank you. I'll be there, Kenta, I promise.
Saturday, 3 p.m. Kenta stood outside the cafe, his heart hammering against his ribs, checking the time every few seconds. Then he saw her. Lavender hair, a simple blue dress, walking toward him with that sleepy smile he knew so well. She spotted him, waved, and quickened her pace, the distance between them shrinking with every step. They stood face to face for the first time, the noise of the city falling away into a fragile silence.
Hi, Kenta.
Hi, Suzu.
They stepped inside, ordered coffee, and settled into a corner booth, the years of phone calls now happening with eyes meeting eyes. They talked for hours about nothing and everything, her animated gestures finally matching the voice he'd memorized. As the sun dipped low, Suzu reached into her bag and slid a small white box across the table.
Open it when you get home.
At home, Kenta sat on his bed and lifted the lid of the small white box. Inside, a star-shaped pendant glittered against a folded note. He recognized the star, the same shape as her earrings. His fingers trembled as he unfolded the note. You once gave me your voice when I needed it. Now I'm giving you a star, so you always remember. Your voice matters. Keep living, Kenta. Suzu.
A star. Like the ones she wears. She's giving me a piece of herself to carry.
He clasped the chain around his neck, the cool metal settling against his chest like a promise. He took out his phone and typed a message to Suzu. Thank you for the star. I'll wait for your return. He pressed send. Almost instantly, a voice message arrived. He pressed play, and her voice filled the quiet room.
I'll be counting the days. Good night, Kenta.
2 weeks later, Kenta stood among a small crowd of fans at the international departure gate. They didn't know who he was. Then Suzu appeared, escorted by her manager. But when she saw Kenta, she broke protocol and walked straight toward him. The fans gasped. Suzu stopped right in front of him, her seafoam green eyes glistening.
Kenta.
She pulled him into a hug, right there in front of everyone, a silent declaration that he mattered.
I'll be back before you know it. Take care of that star.
She pressed a folded slip of paper into his palm, squeezed his fingers, then turned and walked through security without looking back. Alone amidst the dispersing crowd, Kenta unfolded the note. It read, "Look up." He looked up at the glass ceiling, nothing but sky. Then he understood she would be under the same stars tonight.
6 months. Same sky. I can wait.
Kenta stepped out of the airport into the cool evening air, the sky clear and deepening toward dusk. He paused, touching the star pendant against his chest, its warmth a quiet reminder of her presence.
I'm living, Mom. I'm living.
His phone buzzed in his pocket, a message from Suzu. I'll call you from the sky. And Kenta laughed, a full, free laugh that echoed across the empty pavement. The train ride home felt different. The city lights were not just lights, but markers of a life he was finally ready to live.
Her voice is up there, somewhere. And for the first time, so am I.
The train disappeared into the night, carrying him home, not to an empty room, but into a world he was learning to call his own.